Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Super License F1 podcast. My name's Rodney.
And my name is Zach.
Apologies if that was too loud. I was sitting too close to the microphone and the lines just shot right out of my computer screen and whacked me in the face. Sorry about that. But I'm not going to do it again.
And hit me.
No, absolutely. Sorry about that. You could feel that. That was a shudder that you could feel across the world. Zach, we've just spent 15 minutes catching up, but how are you?
All good. All good.
Yep.
We were talking about all the good things about getting vaccinated. Congratulations on your vaccination.
Yes, thank you so much. I just walked in and I said, give me as many as you've got, stick them straight on my forehead. And, 20 minutes later, I was out of there. So one down, one to go. Don't listen to Eminem. You don't only get one shot. You've got to get two.
What are you using your new magnetic powers for?
It's all, basically it's like I don't need pockets anymore. It's fantastic. All I have is keys. I'm trying to go keyless. So there's that. I can stick my iPhone straight onto my chest now, which is great. Like it's like a body cam. It's fantastic for streaming.
Iron Man style.
Yeah, like Iron Man style, exactly. And basically, I can just open the fridge door just by like waggling my head at it, which is good. Get it ready for when I'm walking up to it.
Beer can can fly to you from the fridge.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's fun the first time. And then after that, it's just, just like every day. You know how like really amazing things, after you do them the 1,000th time, it's just like, yeah, whatever. No big deal. I do that all the time. Pretty much like that. Yeah. Podcasting. So this is, first of all, how are you going? Are you going? Are you doing?
Yeah. All good. Yeah. Everything's fine. I am enjoying the slight Formula One break pre-Triply header.
Settle in, everybody.
I have a question for you.
Hit me.
Is Tuesday too early for the Formula One teams and people and the circus to start being like, it's race week? Like it's Tuesday. I'm not ready.
This is the problem that Formula One has, where it's like everybody just gets lulled into this sense of like, yeah, whatever. I'm just getting amnesia about what Formula One is because it isn't weekly. Then they have to get activated. The followers, they need to get reactivated to the fact that it's race week. It's absolutely a joke. How many people just go, it's race week? Like you can set your watch. You know it's Tuesday by the fact that you see all the race week tweets. It's literally a joke. So, F1 Twitter, especially from the teams, it's been pissing me off so bad lately that I just try to disengage whenever I can.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Just chill. Remove yourself from the noise and just listen to what's important to you.
It's true. But we don't need to worry about it being race week. What we need to worry about is it being race week, but a year ago, because we're going to be doing another episode of Dare to Swear where we watch Drive to Survive. I've got Drive to Survive up. You've got Drive to Survive up. My boomer dad's watching. Your boomer dad is watching. We're all going to watch Drive to Survive and we're going to talk all over the top of it. Fuck you. So presumably anyone who wants to watch, Zach, you're about to tell us what episode this is that we're about to watch.
Yes, this is Drive to Survive, if you weren't sure. So type that into your Netflix, or I don't know, maybe you stole it off the internet. Who knows? Season 3,
do it
episode
slow,
7.
Sometimes people use their remotes and you've got to type in all the letters. It's a real pain in the butt.
Season 3, episode 7, Guenther's Choice. Here we go. I wonder if he says it as Guenther. Is it Guenther Steiner? Yeah, it's Guenther. Guenther Steiner.
As opposed to what?
Guenther.
Guenther?
Guenther.
Guenther? What's the... You're like, I wonder if he says it that way, but what's the other way of saying it?
What about the guy from Friends who's just called Guenther? TH.
Guenther. I don't know. Guenther sounds completely wrong.
Yeah, it does. So it's Guenther Steiner. Guenther's Choice. Yeah. Are they making is that a bit of a Sophie's Choice allusion there, do you think?
I can't believe they didn't go with Chekhov's Guenther. That's crazy.
We should start the episode. Are you ready to go?
I'm so ready. You're going to give us a countdown when you play. I'll give a countdown. So if you want to sync up, you can just follow Zach's countdown, which he's going to do right now.
Yeah, okay, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Dun, dun.
Dun, dun. We're off and racing. 5 laps.
This time, we are going to talk about the show.
We'll try. I feel like the one thing I was going to say is that last time I feel like it was actually a pretty good episode. It was a decent story. It was well told, and we probably didn't do it justice. So there's that. This week we're following Haas, so who cares? But we'll try
the Matrix.
General observation: do you watch a lot of Netflix shows? It sounds like you do.
Yeah.
Do you ever notice how you watch a series and it's like 6 episodes? You get 3 episodes in and you're like, fuck me, this could have just been half an hour. Like they pad it out so much. Not everything has to be 6 episodes. You know what I mean?
If
it's 2 hours, make it 2 hours.
Every crime documentary that they make, it's like 6 1-hour episodes. You're like, how about 1.5 hour special? Just do that.
Because there's the 5 minutes of good stuff that you put at the end so that I watch the next one. But you could have just made that all one episode.
Yeah.
And now that that's done, now that the customer service, that public service is done, we can get into this. Haas, they're not going very good. This is the real downfall, because obviously season 1, they were kind of one of the heroes, a very likable team, underdog team that did well. Since then, though, not so good.
Yeah, the whole reason why the show exists was to follow Haas.
Basically.
I'm sure that was the initial pitch, like an American
I'm
team.
sure that there was a big part to it,
American
yeah.
Netflix, we got them. They want to talk to us, like they're totally in. I love that about Gene Haas, though. He's like, look, we don't have to win every week, but it would be nice to be competitive. And you know what? We all feel you, Gene. That's exactly how we feel about
this
every
guy
team.
must be so fed up with it. And I mean, he must be ready to rip his name off this team, honestly.
Yeah. Well, he kind of has. Like, Uralkali is kind of the
has
team now.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Which
Uralkali,
always makes me think of, it's like medicine for a urinary tract infection or something. It's such a terrible name.
Really cleans you out.
Really does.
Gives you a nice big scrub. Silverstone. News of that is that we're going to, even though the lockdown has been delayed a little, or the last stages of lockdown have been delayed a little bit in the UK, we're still going to get fans at Silverstone, which is nice. Because it's
not as many as before,
of,
but
like,
some, which
how
is
do we
good,
do it?
yes.
Yeah. Got some fans. Why did... Oh, God. Have you had to do these? You've done these tests, haven't you?
Yeah. I've done a bunch of these. I like the... like a look at us swaggering around the paddock and then giving the test. I like the way that was handled.
Oh.
What point were you going to make? Are you stalling? You think of something?
I was just going to say that I thought it was a little bit lame that Daniel Ricciardo's fitness bro was like, ice cream. Ice cream's great. I could tell. I was like, we all could. No one is here disagreeing with that. Everyone likes ice cream. Well, most people.
What a controversial opinion. Ice cream is good.
Yeah. Do you think this is a point like everyone's surprised that Silverstone, like it's really sunny and hot?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I was like, there's no way. This is not at all what I think of when I think of Britain in general.
Well, I'm looking out the window right now. It's exactly like that. Summer. It's global warming, mate. It's great.
Pixar didn't happen, mate.
Yeah, well.
More funny stretching.
I don't want
Daniel
people to
Ricciardo's
dox me.
Involved.
Yeah, funny things, at the Haas team. I mean, that's why they're so good. It's because they stretch as teams, they fail, and they win as teams.
We stretch as a team and we lose as a team.
Look, when we lose, we lose as a team.
That's right.
Yeah, what about when you win? That doesn't happen.
We lose as one. Remember these guys? Bloody hell.
Oh, yes.
I wonder, obviously it's probably, like you said before, the owners of Formula One Liberty Media, being an American company, probably going to American Netflix and going, how would you like to do a show about Formula One? And they're like, what's Formula One? And they're like, well, let us tell you all about it. There's this team, Haas, and there's 9 other teams. Don't worry about them. It doesn't even matter.
Don't worry about it.
But Haas is in it to win it. They're the hotshot favorites, and you're going to make a show all about them, and they're like, sold.
And which Americans are in the team?
Yes.
None.
None.
Are there any Americans driving, engineering, anything? No.
Does the name Haas mean anything to you? Haas, it sounds kind of Danish. No. It's American as apple pie, my friend. That's where you've gone wrong.
Do you know CNC machinery? No. Well,
Kevin Magnussen, Roman Grosjean, not American enough for you? Bloody hell.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have a thing that they're like, in the contract or whatever, you will do one episode about Haas, because there's obviously, spoiler alert, some really interesting stories that come up later about one of their drivers. So it's like, well, why are we burning one episode on Haas when there's the only interesting story about their team is also going to get basically another whole episode about it.
That's true. It's true. I've had speaking of, this is a bad association, but
go
ahead.
Bad takes. That's
Kevin
what I'm
Magnussen and Marcus Ericsson sometimes get a little bit confused in my silly little brain. And
now I'm worried I said the wrong one.
No, you've been saying the right things. But this week there was a horrible incident in the Euros football tournament. You might have seen this on the news. I know you don't really follow football or soccer, but a player called Christian Eriksen collapsed on the field, and it was quite harrowing, and luckily he's recovering in hospital now, but it was quite bad for a while. But the whole time when I was explaining this to anyone who I was like, oh my God, did you see that thing? I just had to refer to him as Ericsson because I couldn't remember his first name, because I'm like, I know it's not Marcus because that's the Formula One driver. So don't say Marcus. It's the Greg Russell, George Russell thing. I can't. People have their own names, Zach.
Yes,
learn them. Be confident in them.
There's more than one name in the world. Be willing to be open to exploring new ones.
I just wish people had really different names, so they weren't close at all.
It definitely happened to me once, and I had a job interview, and I had to go in and I had to talk to like Paul Brock, and I was like, "Oh, Paul Brock, like Peter Brock." And then I was walking in, going, Paul Brock. Don't say Peter Brock, the famous Australian V8 car driver. Definitely walk in and say Paul Brock. So I walked in, I was like, "Hi, I've got an interview to go and speak to Peter Brock," and they're like, "What?" Whoops.
Isn't there there's an episode of Peep Show where that's right? Like, Robert Gray, I'm Mark Corrigan. Hi, Robert Grayson. I'm Mark Corrigan. Hi, Robert Grayson. I'm Mark Corrigan. Just walks in immediately, goes, I'm Mark Corrigan. I'm Robert Grayson. And the guy's like, no, I'm Robert Grayson. Are you Robert Grayson? He's like, no. Oh, God. Anyway, Haas and Alfa Romeo being like, hey, all of our parts are supplied by the same company.
Yeah. We're brothers. They're basically cousins. These two teams are cousins.
Yeah. How come you guys are way better at this than us?
What are you doing better than us?
What are you guys doing?
I think it's just that they just don't care as much. Like, I feel like Haas really cares and they're still crap, and that's what makes them seem even more pathetic. But Alfa Romeo, they're like, oh, yeah. I mean, we're not even trying. That's why we're so fucking cool, man. Just have a cigar. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah. This is what, when you watch Brilliant Chefs and they're not measuring anything, it's like, because you just know. Like, and you wouldn't even know how to describe how to cook this thing because, they're just like, now flambe the eggs. And
now
like,
add the butter, this amount.
What? Yeah. It's, you'll know by looking at the amount of butter that you need.
You
and you're like,
cook it until it's ready. Like, how do I know when it's ready?
Yeah. And that is Alfa Romeo all over it. They're just like, we just make a fast car. I mean, you know how to make cars. We know how to make cars. You just make them so that they're fast, and you do the things that make them fast. And Haas is like, can you go into detail about what those specifics are, though?
Not so much. We've
got all the Ferrari parts from last year. We've assembled them, and the car's still not very fast.
We just had 8 words from Kimi Räikkönen. 2 of them were his name, and that's all we're going to get from him, I'm sure.
He was smiling.
He can smile when he wants to.
That wasn't a smile. They counted down
beforehand. So true, bestie.
Yeah, but he doesn't get slammed on social media. Like,
It wouldn't bother. Do you think it would bother him if it did?
Sucker. He's probably not even on social, right?
No.
He's a little bit on social.
I think he set up an Instagram.
Yeah,
his wife, for a while, the only
Instagram
channel in was his wife's Instagram. But I think he set one up and posted like 3 things, and then I think it went away again. So this is good.
Oh,
this is fun. I like this stuff.
He's so nice.
Yeah. Doesn't his dad just look exactly like his dad would look?
Yep. Yes, exactly. I love this. Why aren't you eating?
Yes.
Just what are you going to eat? He's just like some rice, salmon, and avocado. And his mum's like, come on. What about food, though? What are you having after that? That's your entree.
That's what you eat just to get your stomach interested.
Yeah. Oh.
He seems really nice. I mean, it's the same with Nicholas Latifi. Whenever I see stuff of him, because you see so little, but what you do see, I'm like, oh, this guy's all right.
Yeah. Look, I actually think it's tough. Like, I like Antonio Giovinazzi, but he's the driver that people forget. But at least he's got a name I can't confuse with anybody else's.
That's true. Yes.
Big tick.
Absolutely.
But being the only Italian in Formula One at the Italian team, not the there are 2 Italian teams, but kind of the Italian team with the Italian the non-Ferrari, I suppose, or AlphaTauri team. God. Really Buxton leading in there on the British as a wicked quick. God, I'd like that. I wish someone would describe me as being wicked anything. Like, you're wicked smart, you're wicked quick.
It's like, what? Man, is it 1985 or what?
They show us
have we got time for a divergence, or are you outruling them? Are you going to veto divergences?
No, diverge.
Wicked. You know the famous clip of John Travolta when he stuffs up the person's name at the Oscars? You're like, and the wickedly talented, blah, blah, blah. I was today years old when I learned that the reason he said she was wickedly talented was because she was in the musical Wicked. I had absolutely no idea. I thought he was just being very generous with his praise.
Yeah.
And he was like hitting wickedly so hard because he'd forgotten the name. Like, that's why I thought he did that. You know what I mean? He was like, oh, this person, she's wickedly talented. You wouldn't even no one could ever forget her name, and her name is blah, 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 blah.
No one would ever confuse Marcus Ericsson and Kevin Magnussen.
No.
Why would that ever happen?
Unforgettable name, like Greg Russell.
Yep. I'm still not sure if it's Greg or George. When you just said it then, was like, was that the right one?
See,
no, that was the wrong one.
This is all padding to get us to a 40-minute episode. This is all garbage. This can all get trimmed.
But this is, they should send us the bits, the edits first, then we can tell them what they should trim. Do you think this should be, would this show be better if it was 25 minutes?
I mean, some that's the thing. Some would.
This one is, 38 or something, right? Wow. What? Oh, yeah, I remember this. Roman Grosjean just, that's great. The engineer's just being like, it would be nice if Roman Grosjean finished the race, though. That first things first, guys. Try to finish. I mean, then we can worry about where we finish.
I always think about
Let's get that.
Like when drivers, I mean, it's one thing for us to turn on the TV 5 minutes before the race starts and someone breaks down right at the start and they go, oh no, that's disappointing. But you got to remember what the person's gone through to friggin' get to that race and that event and all the media and all the flights and all the training and all of the practice and qualifying. And then they go to line up and they're like, oh, car won't start. Whoops, sorry. That's what a pain in the ass. I complain if my train stops for 20 minutes on the way to work, We're finally racing. This is good.
To me, I feel like that's what it was like when I was baking bread. I was like, you grow the sourdough, you make the dough, you proof the dough overnight, and then you do all of this stuff, and then you just and then it just doesn't work, and you're just like,
Why did I bother? What did I try?
What the fuck are we doing here? What did I learn? Patience is what I learned, right?
What did we learn? Never
I learned
try.
to just buy great sourdough from across the road for £2. Just do that.
So do you have, sorry, let's talk sourdough for a second, because I don't know much, but I know you need to have a mother. Is that what it's called? You need to have a mother.
A sourdough starter.
Sure.
Mother is what you would use for
Isn't there a familial
kombucha.
type term for it?
Yeah, you could have a mother starter, I suppose. Definitely.
You're the right.
Of course you can. Yes, definitely. Yeah, you can.
So have you had a successful bake yet?
Well, I did this in first lockdown, March in 2020. You remember that? I had a relatively flat sourdough. My best friend Kyle, his fucking sourdough is off the chain good. Oh. Every time he posts on Instagram, and he just keeps doing it, and it's just great. I bet you know what? Roman Grosjean could make a fucking great sourdough.
I bet he does.
No doubt.
I bet you he does.
He is 100% making great sourdough.
He's like, the secret, put lemonade in there.
Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, the thing is, I want that. I think we said this once on a show that I want him to become a French TV cooking personality. That would be great.
Yeah. Yes. I want him to do a great. Where's his Netflix show?
Basic training, things to eat, what you eat before you go run a marathon,
What's
what
it
you
called?
eat after, all that stuff.
What's it called? Life According to Roman Grosjean?
Just, I don't know, smile time with Roman.
Life with Roman.
Sunny life. Sunny
life.
No, something about fire, actually.
On Amazon Prime.
Remember me? I was the fireman. I was baking, fully baked.
You're right. That's going to be they'll do the cold open of him mucking up something cooking wise with some celebrity or in some, with some coastline behind him. And then the intro will be, I'm Roman Grosjean. I had a great career in Formula One until...
They superimpose
when I rethought my life and decided there was more to living. I'd always been a fit guy and I'd always thought about what I was eating, but now I wanted to bring that learning into my everyday life because I've got a family and a wife, and I'm going to take what I've learned and what I'm always learning, because I'm always learning, and bring that to you on my new series, Sunny Times with RG.
And they show the car crashing in the big fireball, but then he just walks out and he's holding a French baguette.
Yeah,
he's
of
just
course
cooked in the fire.
Yeah.
I've lost the thread of the race here.
Remembering that he can overtake people.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay, so this is Roman sort of doing okay. They want him to win, want him to finish the race, which means he's definitely not going to. That's why they showed that. And
but the stop's going to be great. Don't worry about it.
The disappointment.
Oh wow, it really went over. Hit his marks. Go. Just Roman, go. Press the go button.
No.
Put it in gear.
Car says no.
The team principals are always so calm on the pit wall when they're looking at all right, I'd be yelling. I'm like, just press the go button. You know how to do it.
I guess in that moment, yelling wouldn't do anything. The camera's right in his face, and he's sort of used to it. I guess he doesn't want the driver looking over and seeing him shake his head like that. But
why couldn't I engage first?
Well. Oh, no,
of course you lost, but you might finish. Jeez. Calm down.
Come on, man. We lost 2 places to Williams.
Oh, no. There's a lot of bugs at Silverstone. A lot of splattered bugs on helmets.
Isn't it because it used to be, it was built on a swamp or something?
Everything is here. I mean, everything's humid. and
it's
buggy.
cool, Brenton.
I'm covered. I sat outside in the
covered in
grass
bugs
near
right now?
canal the other week, last week, and I've got like 6 bites on my legs that just are huge and are just not going away. They're just like, there's like puncture holes in me. I never saw these bugs, but apparently they got big bitey abilities.
If only we could crossbreed them to like inject people with the vaccine.
Oh, we should be putting the vaccine in mosquitoes and they can go around and bite everyone. Finally.
That's it.
Yeah, of course he fucked it up. There was no way that car was all bad. He put it in neutrally. He freaked out, didn't know what to do because he's under pressure. And that's what happens when you're in a pit stop.
Like he hit something on the steering wheel and it just went. Like, I mean, surely he knows.
A lot of buttons on their steering wheels. A lot of buttons.
It's true. It's true. Not like the old days.
Oh, God. You want to be the guy making the call, not receiving them. You don't want to answer the phone from Gene. You want to be making the call to Gene. Always, if you've got bad news to give, you want to call. Don't wait for someone to call you. I never follow that advice, and I'm worse for it.
I was going to say, that's why we're podcasters and not millionaires. Because we don't make the calls.
Yeah. He always says this. It's like, we would have been fine. If things didn't go wrong, we would have got points this weekend. But things went wrong. Classic, and I don't think you can blame us.
All we needed was 5 cars ahead of us to crash. I mean, we would have scored a point.
I don't want to spend more money on this team. Go and find a sponsor. And this is what amazed me about this episode, is that question came to Guenther Steiner. It's like, he's everything. He's not like... He's doing all of it. He's finding team principals. He's finding sponsors.
It's funny how much he does.
He's reading contracts. He's doing everything. I mean, you wouldn't be surprised when you hear that Toto Wolff does that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, but Toto doesn't do anything else. Like, he just hangs out.
He works out. I know that.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else does he do?
Guns.
Yeah, it's true. No, I was absolutely surprised that Guenther was so hands-on. I mean, you kind of expect he'll be called in for the big meetings, but you don't expect him to be really like initiating things on this level. I mean, look, he's literally the one going, show me the spreadsheet, show me the millions of dollars and where I get you enough that we're not like hemorrhaging money. Like it's, and we're really watching.
I love that. He's sitting there with him and he's like, so we're going to say that this is $15 million. Right? Or 50 million euros. And what I can imagine is it's a picture of actually €5. And they're like, we're going to tell them this is 15 million. And then they're going to give us 15 million. And then we're never going to tell them it's actually not that. Yeah. And we're just going to keep the money.
I've drawn a picture of Queen Beatrice. Now, don't worry about the fact there's no Queen Beatrice. I'm going to tell people this is a $15 million note. There's only 5 of them in the world, and I've got one.
Yep.
And we're going to get this friggin' deal done.
This all made sense to me as well. That like, if I was going to sponsor an F1 team, I want to be super involved. I want to be going. I want to learn all about it. I want to be a part of it. I want to know that it's successful. Like, I can't just give you the money and then hope. Like, I need to know your plans. Like, are you going to make it good? And also, maybe you get a German driver. That makes sense. They're maybe. Like, God, yeah, we'd love one, mate. Anyone, actually, to replace the couple of douchebags we have would be awesome.
I mean, the thing is, though, right? I mean, this is Guenther's, like, ticket out of here. Like, he's like, if we're going to be crap, let's be crap with whoever drivers. I don't care. And I don't have to be the bad guy. I can just say the sponsor made us get rid of these guys. Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine, though? At least the sponsor said, like, a nice German driver. If the sponsor was like, I need the best, like, New Zealand driver, you'd be like, that's going to be difficult. You can't run his race. And Mitch Evans, or whatever his name is in Formula E. How many great drivers does New Zealand actually have that I could just put in this F1 team? But if you pick Germany, like there's probably a lot of drivers available.
Yeah, probably.
Right?
I think they just definitely had
population
one in
and support
mind,
for racing.
but they were like, well, we like this one. We like this one with the great name, the great surname. But if it's another
Schumacher
one, that's
around.
fine too. I think Schumacher's got a good ring to it. Yeah, I think we'll get Schumacher.
Yeah. You don't think it was who raced for Manor and then went to DTM and we've not heard anything about him
Pascal
again?
Wehrlein?
Pascal Wehrlein. Good name.
Good hair.
Good hair. Just a good look all around, really.
You know what I like about him?
Not a bad driver.
He was wickedly talented. Look at this is pensive stuff from Guenther here.
Yeah. He's quite relaxed, I would say, considering what you see about him on the rest of the time.
That's certainly true.
I think his middle band is good. Like, he's got to
he's
in touch with his feelings.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah. And he can switch off. I think when he's having fun, he's having fun.
When things are a bit bad, oh boy, I mean, he absolutely blows his stack. When things are like mid-range, like when the temperature gauge is in orange, he's like, this, this could be a lot worse. It could be a lot better. And me blowing up isn't going to change anything. And then when it's in the red, boy, there's like steam coming out of his ears.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, you're right. You've absolutely nailed it.
So we're hearing some stuff here around like, okay, well, Mick Schumacher is going to solve all the problems at Haas. Fast forward to now, and we're like, Mick Schumacher crashes all the time and is having a really hard time, actually. And so, difficult. But I like this storyline as well, that Alfa Romeo is like, he's one of our guys. He's doing testing for us. He's wearing an Alfa Romeo polo. We're going to look after him. Nice Italian team. Clear pathway to Ferrari. Don't even worry about it. It would have been awkward if he wasn't like, my dad is my idol. Imagine if he's like, actually, my idol is Sebastian Vettel. I think he's really great.
Yeah,
I love him.
Diego Maradona is my idol.
Ralph Schumacher. What? That'd be so mean. Actually, I prefer the little-known, more underground Schumacher, actually.
Yeah, he's just quiet and he just goes about his business and he picks his moment, and I like that about him.
Yeah.
He doesn't look that much like his dad, I reckon. I don't know, like... I mean,
he's definitely got a rounder, softer look to him than his dad.
His dad had that jaw that really jutted out, like the dad from American Dad or something. Just, I mean, when I look at Mick Schumacher, I'm like, you're just like a good-looking guy.
Yeah, no, Mick feels like they softened and cartoonized and youngified Michael Schumacher. Like
youngified
him. Yeah, that's what
definitely a word.
Yeah. Don't worry, Antonio, no one's going to replace you.
Irreplaceable. And if they try, I will bite their neck and suck their soul out. What do you think of
Vassar.
What do you think of Vassar?
When he was really little, I was already watching.
I watched him all the time while he was getting changed in the showers.
A big part of it being a good Formula 1 driver is
give me
that
your
their
general
breathing is good,
impressions
so I
about
watch him when
Frederick
he sleeps.
Vassar. Give me your general impressions.
Give me an impression.
No,
he
not
feels
an
like
impression.
an F1 guy.
What do you think of... Yeah, we'll go expand on that. Give me more.
Okay. Slimy, but also driven and smart.
Okay.
Backdoor dealings. He's the kind of guy that you wouldn't even know that he had stolen your driver or contract or sponsor. He's a silent assassin.
He's a slippery,
he's friendly, he's lovely.
He's all about himself. Doesn't care at all about you unless there's money to be made for himself or the team or whatever.
Or success to be had.
He's one of those slippery characters.
Yeah, but he'll facilitate your success if that success also rubs off on him, which is what that's sport, man. That's what this is. There's no point having people around just for jokes. You need someone who's going to, like, if you're picking Formula 1 drivers, hell, if you're picking like engineers or anybody part of your Formula 1 team, it's only judged on performance. So, he's probably feeling pretty good about the fact that he's gone to Haas, because he's like, well, turns out he wasn't that good.
Yeah. Then
it's so mean. That Haas seems so undrivable.
Then it becomes, did he know that? And was he like, it was almost like a, who was the other guy? Robert Kubica, where someone did a test with him and they're like, oh yeah, we're not going to put him in our car, but if you want him, oh boy, you're going to have to pay. And then they put him in a car and it was like, oh, this guy's drunk.
Yeah. I think I said last week, like Mick Schumacher, you don't go from Formula 2 into Formula 1 and have an easy ride, especially if you go to a team where the car's not that easy to drive. And so maybe Vassar and Alfa Romeo were like, look, we've got a couple of drivers. One's getting pretty old. Mick Schumacher, why don't we let another team, file his rough edges off? Let another team let that kind of happen. And by the time he comes to Alfa, because we can have words to proper Ferrari and make that happen. When Kimi's ready to retire, we'll pick up Mick and it'll be great. And his career will really start in Formula 1.
Yeah,
that's totally imagined. No inside knowledge.
That's cool. And this is a bit of a hostile pose that Guenther is doing here. Like it's sort of, I want to be casual, but also like, man.
Frustrated.
He's leaning back, but he's definitely like projecting forward.
I'd like to work with Guenther, I feel like, because I feel like you'd hear it straight, right? I don't think he's got much maneuvering in him. He's pretty straightforward. I think that's maybe why Gene Haas likes him too, because he does pick up the phone when Gene calls, right? He didn't avoid the call.
I mean, you definitely wouldn't like go to bed at night wondering what Guenther thinks about you.
No, exactly.
Do I want him as a boss though? I feel like I like the sort of high emotional intelligence kind of boss where it's like,
Okay.
I did all my work
Understand
today.
your motivations.
And my kid is sick. Can I go home? Sure you can. Like Guenther would be like, oh, I wouldn't want to have that conversation with Guenther.
Really? I feel like Guenther would say yes.
Oh.
Because Gunther's the kind of guy who doesn't order the coffee for the meeting without the idea of wanting to drink it. He didn't get it for show. He was like, yeah, I'll choose the thing that I'd like to have and I'm going to have it.
That's like one of those character-defining phrases. I'm not sure I understand what it means. Guenther doesn't understand. Guenther doesn't order the coffee unless he's going to drink it. It sounds profound. I'm not sure what it means.
Well, no, because if you're sitting there and you've got something and you sit down and I sit down, I might be like, oh, we're going to have a meeting and you've got a drink. I'll get a drink too, even though I don't really feel like one. Whereas Gunther's like, I'm only doing the thing because I want it. I don't want to do it. He's not, there is no facade about him. There is nothing fake about him. He's just like doing the thing. And it's a hard job, but Haas is still there and he's struggling through and he's kind of made, fast forward to now, we know that, no spoiler. I almost was like, oh, we'll wait and see what happens. Like we all know what happens.
I guess I feel like, goes there.
All of this is pulled off.
If there's an hour to go left in the work week and you sort of give your boss the wink and be like, hey, bevies, and then, they're either going to be like, oh, we're on the clock for another hour, so no drinks until then, please. Or the boss is going to be like, I'm going to get my coat. I'm going to meet you downstairs. We're going to have drinks. And I feel like Frederick Vasseur is the guy who's like handing out cigars at that time and like, let's have a drink and finish it off because we earned it. And Guenther would be like, I reckon we stay back for another 2 hours and try and work out, why we're so shit.
Yeah, I feel like Guenther would let you have the beer at the desk. The thing about Vasseur in that circumstance is he's going to remember every single time that you asked beers and he said yes, and then he's going to call you Wednesday, 3 a.m. one time, be like, I need you in the office now.
Yeah, maybe.
To do a thing.
Maybe. Or he's going to be
the guy, he keeps score. Those are favors he is doing you.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
This is all good.
That's what I was going to say. It'd be like, you'd go out with him, but then you'd be like, well, I better go. And he'd be like, we're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere until I'm finished.
Yeah.
I'm not done having fun yet, so you're staying.
Yeah, that's right. And actually, he could have like going out and then he'd be like, actually, you can only have one drink because I am going to need a lift home. So we can make that happen. That'd be great. But he's probably lovely.
Having said that, though, he lets you drive his helicopter. Not all bad.
Not all bad.
So driving, we're pushing which of the Haas drivers or Aston Martin drivers is going to do the best and who will get to sign the prize driver of Mick Schumacher.
Yes. Who will come 15th and 16th this race weekend? I'm sure Mick Schumacher is probably not even really part of the decision-making process. He was probably just a resource that is being used by these teams that is being battled over.
It's not like one race.
He was the last chicken nugget.
Haas beat Alpha at this race, huh? Well, I better sign with them then. It just doesn't come down to that.
No, where are those teams based? I wonder if that's part of it. Where's Haas? Are they actually in the US? That doesn't feel right. I should know this. I'm sorry I don't know this.
I feel like they may. I think like they've got a base there. The question is, do they have a base somewhere else? I feel like they might have one in the US and in England, but it's not like the full setup the way teams are based in,
they're in Kannapolis
would be set up.
In the United States, according to them.
Alpha, Aston Martin, Switzerland, I think.
Alfa Romeo?
Alfa Romeo, yeah. Which team are we talking about?
You said Aston Martin.
Yeah. I think Alfa I corrected myself and said the wrong one. Stupid me.
That happens. Classic Ericsson.
Wickedly
George
talented.
Greg Russell, I understand.
Alfa Romeo,
yes,
I think they're in Switzerland. Because they're Sauber, like they're the old Sauber team, right? And
Sauber. Yeah, for tax purposes.
Yes, exactly. You can also, you don't have to live in Monaco, guys. You can live in Ireland. Damon Hill taught us that. Big tax haven there.
Famous Damon.
Name the famous Damon. Name 3 Damons.
There are no other Damons. Damon. Actually,
exactly.
That's how it's pronounced. Damon.
Actually, it's Damon.
Who's Damon? He Damon.
It was very popular a few weeks ago, a few episodes of Data Sphere ago when you challenged me to name muscles. Apparently that's like a highlight for a lot of people. So, whenever there's an opportunity to jump in with the old name 3, name 5, name 10, we're going to do it.
Yeah. That's oh my God, that's a very stop podcasting yourself thing. Like, name two more.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But they, Dave Schmidt's just like, I can't believe you. Name 10 of that thing. He just exaggerates all the way right to the end.
You are not an expert. Yeah, yes. Show me you're the expert.
Come on, Kevin. Come on, Kevin. Do well. Push, 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 push.
Sebastian Vettel? Oh my God, an overtake. This is the Sebastian Vettel we know.
Yeah, this is for P11 though. So yeah. And he's still in Ferrari at that time. He shouldn't be down there.
Ooh, that's a good move.
Like it's a great thing.
That's a very good move. Push him off the track. Get him, Kev.
So much radio complaining about that move, I guarantee.
Okay. Well, I wasn't going to do that, actually. I was going to lift. I was getting tired.
Yeah. I thought you were about to say let him past.
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, you know, we have our fun. We're cynical people about this stuff. There must be people who don't know that much about Formula One who watch this and they're like, this feels so tense and this isn't even for the win. Is Formula One like this all the time? So
kind of. We just don't get. I mean, we like this about Drive to Survive. Is it captures these stories that it's hard to see the pressure of the people who, you know, all those teams are scrapping over 13th, 14th, 15th. They want to finish. They've got the added pressure. Yeah,
they want to win or they want to beat the people they're racing just as much as anyone else wants to win or beat the people they're racing. I guess what I'm trying to say is like, you know, I can be cynical about like, I don't think that this result at this race determines the future career trajectory of Mick Schumacher, but I don't want to discount the fact that that's, you know, that's an exciting dynamic of the sport that we all love. I don't want to, you know, that I'm just putting that to a side just because we're so familiar with that. But I'm calling out to other people, that would be a thrilling thing. Yeah,
and it is. And I think there's a couple of things happening there, which is that it must be, I like this episode because Guenther puts himself on the hook a lot. Like, can you imagine going into a meeting and being like, there's only 10 Formula One teams and you're going to sponsor one of them for as little as 15 million euros. Like, how insane. Your name's going to be up in lights. And then, but you in your heart of heart, you know, it's like, but also we come last most of the time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have these calls all the time with these sponsors who are like, hey, why'd you make that call where you didn't put our driver in the team? Because they would have done better than the drivers that you chose. Yeah, we're going to wind up in this situation that we always seem to wind up in. Oh, actually, there's still a bit of time left. I was going to say we go into this deep conversation point right as the credits roll, and then we have to like bail out of it. But this one, there's still 7 minutes left or something. There was a photo of what was it, James Hunt's birthday or something like that, and McLaren tweeted a photo and it had him and his car and the Marlboro logos all over the car, and I started to realize like, oh man, that's part of the, like, you know, cigarettes were a huge part of the sponsorship back then, but what they were really buying, as well as the coverage then to get on the TV and be associated with the sport and all the rest of it, but they've got decades and decades and decades of legacy exposure, right? Like, because they can't just, unless it becomes literally outlawed to post a photo on Twitter of an old car that was factual and had the actual sponsors on it, unless they like, no, you have to blur that all out. I mean, they're going to get exposure from that for ages. Yeah, I mean, that's why Mission Winnow and Ferrari are still together. Like PMI and Marlboro still have their fingerprints and then dirty mitts all over that Ferrari team. They literally still have a relationship, not even in the sense of like actively trying to get some kind of side promotion going. They still have an active relationship with that team because of the sponsorship they had 20, 30 years ago. I mean, it's still ongoing because of that legacy and that exposure they get through that legacy and the celebration. That's a great point. It's just something I'd never thought of. It's so difficult. Well, I mean, that's why, I mean, Haas are trying to do kind of the impossible, I think, which is you're a new team, you're not based in Europe, you've got to take drivers who aren't, like, they're in a really tough spot now, like with unknown drivers, essentially, unknown sponsors, no credible racing history that people can, like, eyeball and be like, oh, I know you, like, no one, like, who makes these cars, no one knows, like, it's all just a bit crazy. Whereas you're like Selby, like, oh, we'll just rebrand as Alfa Romeo, actually. Bring that name back to the sport. Look at us. We're great. Everyone knows what we are. Haas are trying to do the really, really, really complicated thing. And if anything, it must have been pretty freaking annoying for Guenther Steiner to be like, well, I thought I had these two guys. these two experienced guys who know how to drive Formula One cars and have just both gotten bad in the period of about 18 months. Like, no, those were the things they could kind of bank on. And now there's nothing that just wasn't true anymore. So, you know, we ummed and ahed a little bit about why Guenther, how come he didn't fire one of them before this season even? You know, we knew that they were both kind of on the way out, but he still went a long season. He still went all of 2020 with them, right? Why didn't he pull the plug earlier?
I think if I was Kevin Magnussen, I would be pretty annoyed, because I think if he had done that, if he had gotten rid of Roman and installed someone earlier who brought in some more money or sponsorship or whatever, they might have been able to kind of continue along, one foot in the we're serious racing, you know, we don't rely on the sponsorship and the pay drivers, but one foot in that camp as well. As opposed to now where they've kind of had to sort of like just jump in the deep end and be like, we're going to get this young driver that he's connected to other teams. So he comes with some backing and some, you know, he gets a career path to Ferrari or wherever. And, you know, that improves our standing with our main suppliers. But at the same time, we have another driver who brings in heaps of money. His dad's just going to pump. He's literally just going to inject the fuel tank with cash dollar bucks. And, I mean, they've had to kind of cut and completely do a 180 in terms of being like, well, we are just a serious outfit, to being we are completely bought and paid for by a billionaire.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know, Haas in name only, it seems.
But like a little bit of corrective action 2 years ago might have avoided this to the degree that we've seen now. That's all.
Well, I mean, that's it. I mean, we saw a little bit. We only got that tiny little bit of, you know, Gene Haas on the phone saying, I don't want to put any more money in Guenther, so find it. And we saw how he found it. He got a big German sponsor who were like, cool, you have to put a German driver in there, and it has to be Mick Schumacher. And we didn't see any of the negotiations. In fact, that conversation happened after Uralkali was already in. Uralkali was already in because you saw that on the graphics that they put up on the screen to convince that sponsor. So that had already happened. But that's just a money play too. So really, did it have anything to do with Grosjean and Magnussen not being as good at drivers as they'd hoped? Or was it literally that the team was running out of money? It was like, well, you guys are just collateral damage. Like, I didn't want to replace you. I just had to, because both of our sponsors, one wants his son in Formula One, the other wants a German driver. And unless either of you want to change citizenship and naturalize in Germany, you both have to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, that's it.
I don't remember saying sorry.
So whilst we are probably thinking that it's got to be, well, their abilities, but actually it's just, this episode's just like, well, sponsorship and money. Put those drivers in that car.
I mean, Guenther's got a big smile there. I'm sure it's absolutely not, because he's thrilled at the talent of the drivers. It's absolutely, I can't believe that all the stress is over and we're going to be continuing to race in whatever form that is. He's just like, this is survival. This is there's less drive and more surviving here.
Yeah, exactly.
We're in the up next section, which means it's time to hit stop, and it's time for us to, I don't know, do a little bit of reflection, and then we'll wrap this baby up. So,
debrief.
Zach, what are you thinking about? I mean, obviously, I don't think that was one of the better ones. Like, for example, I think last week's one was better, and I think the last couple in the series are better.
Yeah.
But that was all right.
Yeah, I think that if you're new to the show, which I've had even a few more people that I work with actually tell me that they've just started watching it and they're keen to go to F1 races and stuff, which is awesome. So there is a sense of like, if you sat down and you're like, wow, there's 3 seasons of this Drive to Survive show, I'm going to gobble it all up. You might not kind of be tired of the Guenther Steiner Haas story, but the wow factor of being like, wow, this small team and this guy who swears and is like kind of full of energy and has a really hard lot. Like I feel like you could kind of be sick of that a little bit. And I'm not surprised by anything that happens at Haas anymore. I'm kind of a little bit like, yeah, I mean, you're a shambles. That kind of makes sense. All right. I'm a little bit interested in how it continues to be a shambles. So keep telling me that story every season. But I don't think we see those same stories about any of the other teams, because some of the other teams are a little bit better run than that.
Yeah, I think we're not quite getting into like full like reality TV manipulating the storyline territory, but it does feel a bit like the character of Haas and Guenther Steiner and their predicament in the show doesn't quite gel with the realities of how things are panning out on the track. But, maybe that's a topic for another day. And I do have another topic for another day that I'll bring up probably in the the Romain Grosjean one where he's actually had his incident. So I'll save that, park that thought. And as we all know,
but not a bad episode.
It's not a bad episode. It's fine. I mean, that's the thing, right? The worst episode of Drive to Survive is still better than the best episode of insert awful show here.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd still, as I said, there were lots of insights in that episode.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I've never seen a sponsor conversation happen. Like, that's amazing. That kind of access. Like, it's unprecedented in Formula One to see. And maybe that's why Haas and Guenther and stuff are so important to have in the show, because they seem to be the team we get the most access into. You know, we learn so much about their process, and maybe that's why I feel like I can be harsh on them, because I actually know what's going on. And we said it in the episode, right? Poor Guenther feels like he's also, that last shot, he's making the coffees too. You know, like he's doing everything there. He needs some help. He needs to delegate is what he needs to do. But I've never seen a sponsor meeting. I've never seen someone prep for a sponsor meeting and then talk about what the decision they're going to have to make after that sponsor meeting. I mean, that's intense stuff. Like, you don't really get that access in any other sport, and you don't get it at any other team in Drive to Survive. So, yeah, but maybe that's just because Haas have those kind of unique problems. And if anything, it's going to be interesting learning more about like how Williams navigated this season or the last season as the show goes on. That kind of thing. It's the teams that are really struggling that maybe have the interesting stories.
Yeah, I wish they could kind of maybe get the balance a little bit better. Like we were saying before, it felt like they was just padding when they were just standing on the grid, like getting ready to race. It's like, I'm here for the racing and for the business deals. So show me more of the business deals, or set up more around that. Like, that's a unique thing I've never seen before. Show me more of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Obviously they think they know what they're doing. Yeah, okay, well, there's a few more episodes to go. We've got triple header races, assuming they will go ahead, but they probably will at this point. So it's going to be a little while before we do any more. I think I counted them out, though, and assuming all the races go ahead as planned, we should be reaching the end of the season sort of in the summer break, in the middle of the summer break. So if you're setting your watch to how often we do these episodes, that's how many more there are to go. So yeah, plenty more. You don't have to worry about it. Plenty more to come, and then races in between. This is becoming like the Netflix commentary show where we also talk about races instead of the other way around, but that's okay. Anything else we need to do? Any more business to do this week, Zach?
No. You just got me thinking about what we might do when we run out of Dare to Swear, Drive to Survive. Yeah. You know, I've got. I'm sure we'll come up with some cool stuff.
There's always money in Shakedown, but I'm absolutely open to any other. No, I was going to say filler, not filler. Any other short run concepts?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So watch this space. But coming up though, the French Grand Prix. So enjoy that. We'll see you for that. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. We're at Superlicense. Don't forget to check out the website if you want, superlicense.com.au. There's links there to the Patreon. Thanks so much to everyone who supports us on Patreon. And what else do you want to do? You want to get into the Discord. If you haven't gotten in by yet, that's not the right way to say that. If you haven't gotten in by yet, now is the time to get in, because I'm going to be in there and I'm going to say something real funny in a couple of days. You won't want to miss it.
Whoa, I'm going to be there for that.
Yeah, hype.
Emoji react to your squishy boomer face.
Bring your boomer dad. Everybody bring their boomer dad or boomer mum, I guess.
But you'll already be in there, Rob.
Maybe he is under a different
name. Okay.
Don't know.
Yeah,
well,
it.
I think we're running out of gas here. We're spinning our wheels. So all I'm going to do now is wrap up the show, which I do by saying that my name's been Rod.
And my name's been Zach.
See you next time for the French Grand Prix. Bye-bye.
A bientôt.
Oh, yeah.